everything seemed perfectly on track.
I was proud of her. I mean, she was doing a lot.
Lauren Giddings' parents and entire family couldn't have been more proud of the 27-year-old student who had just graduated from Mercer Law School in Macon, Georgia.
Lauren going to college was huge. No one in our family had ever been to college.
Lauren's younger sisters, Sarah and Caitlin, say despite living hundreds of miles away, her heart and soul were tied to her family in Maryland, where they all grew up.
She always would come home for most holidays that she could, or we'd go there. And even when she wasn't, she called home every Sunday to talk to my grandmother that lives across the field.
Lauren's studies at Mercer were nearly complete. She was only prepping to take the bar exam while living in an apartment right across from her college. But despite her keen mind, there was something Lauren was clueless about. Someone was watching her every move.
She never mentioned being in fear for her safety. One trip home, and I think it was a year before, she had mentioned sometimes when she came home, she felt like things had been moved around or someone had been in her apartment.
Busy with her law life, Lauren didn't think much about the curious incident. But was this popular and talented student unknowingly becoming someone's prey?
She's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Fellow graduate Stephen McDaniel tells our Macon affiliate, WGXA, he knew her well. He also attended Mercer and lived across the street from the law school. Stephen had reportedly asked her on a date. Lauren declined because she had been dating someone else.
Talk to me about the guy she was dating.
David is his name. They had been dating for a few years at that point, before she even started law school. So they had broken up at some point and then gotten back together.
But now a busy weekend had come and gone, and strangely, Lauren was suddenly nowhere to be found.
Lauren was my neighbor. We're just trying to find out where she is at this point.
Had Lauren just disappeared? Her family was not overly concerned. She already told them she would be studying 24/7 for the bar exam.
Throughout the week leading up to Wednesday, I had called, emailed, and texted her, but it was nothing serious. So when she didn't respond, I never thought anything weird of it. It was just something that I never really needed an answer to.
But Lauren's friends at the school were already looking for answers. One of them contacted police, who came to the apartment. Seeing no signs of a break-in, they left.
On Wednesday, one of her friends called me and asked me if I had talked to Lauren, because she said I called, her phone was dead. So of course I immediately picked up the phone and called, and her phone was dead. And I did think that was weird.
Lauren had now been missing for 4 days. On campus, Stephen McDaniel was one of those who joined in the search for his missing friend.
The only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her.
And Caitlin's worries about her sister were now deepening by the minute.
I had called her boyfriend, I had called friends in Atlanta, friends here, called hospitals in the area searching for her.
When did you realize something was wrong?
When I woke up that morning, I came down the steps and Caitlin was here, and she just said Lauren was missing.
In desperation, Caitlin asked a friend to use a hidden key, getting access to Lauren's apartment.
And she went in, called me back, said that all of her stuff was there, purse, keys, the car was still out front, wallet, school ID.
The alarm bells were now deafening.
I hung up with her and called my uncle, who was a DC policeman, and just told him there's, everything I knew. And he said, tell her to go outside, shut the door, and call 911 and say they have to come right now.
They did, but with their arrival, this case was about to take a dramatic turn.
There was no witness. It was just a matter of interviewing anybody who lived at that complex or anybody who was associated with Lauren.
Suddenly, she had vanished, and now nothing was the same.
Having them missing is the torture. Having a missing sister or daughter, that's torture. You don't know what's happening to your family member.
Lauren Giddings, a smart young law student, disappears in Macon County, Georgia. After 4 days of friends searching and unbearable torment, her desperate family calls police again.
And when they came back the second time, what happens?
They went in and searched around. The friends had already done that too, including Stephen McDaniel. They had gone in her apartment, searched around. The person on 911 had told them to go in again, check things like towels, are her towels wet? Because then she showered recently. Check trash can, you check for receipts. and the police came too and checked around, and then everyone left, like maybe 1 or 2 in the morning. It was kind of like there was nothing to be seen there.
Because it wasn't in Lauren's apartment where the horrifying story details would unfold, this missing person case became something far more sinister when investigators moved outside the building.
They started looking a little closer around outside and discovered the trash bag that was in one of the dumpsters, and once they were able to open the bag and look in it, discovered her body. We found just her torso. There was no limbs attached, and of course her head was missing as well, so we just had her torso.
The devastatingly tragic news traveled fast to Lauren's family in Maryland, broken to them in a most unexpected way.
We were just all there, and my uncle walked over, he lives across the street, and was kind of standing in the corner. And he said, well, did you check the news? And we're like, no. And what is it? You know, what is it? Well, did you check? And my aunt was like, you need to just tell us what you're talking about. And he said, they found a body. And everyone was just hysterical. And then really quickly, like, well, who found it? Where? What? Why?
Heart-wrenching news for the Giddings family. Sadly, the search for Lauren was over.
Never did I doubt that that was her body, but that was my mom's first, you know, are you sure it's her? Like, could it be, you know? They came here and did a DNA test on my mom to match her.
But who had callously dumped Lauren's dismembered body in the trash? Police were desperate to solve this extremely brutal crime.
This all happened so quickly.
Yeah, it was, which honestly is a very good thing. When they found her body, the trash was supposed to have already picked it up at that point.
The crime scene yields 2 lucky breaks for investigators. 1, the dumpster should have been collected that morning, but the truck was running late, leaving Lauren's remains and other DNA evidence to be discovered by police. And soon, there was this.
Do you know anybody any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is.
Stephen McDaniel's bizarre performance in an interview with our affiliate station, WGXA. His reaction on hearing the discovery of Lauren's body immediately captured the attention of investigators, who found it strikingly suspicious.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of, I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
Had you heard anything? Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's why we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
And McDaniel's performance didn't end there. He told reporters he'd wish he had lent Lauren one of his guns to protect herself.
Yeah, I just heard something. Maybe I could have helped.
Within hours, cops start looking a whole lot closer at McDaniel, a 25-year-old law graduate, described by friends as quirky but intelligent. Investigators learned that friends considered him a bit creepy, saying he had an obsession with zombies. He had often asked others how to commit the perfect murder. His deception knew no bounds. Remember him, distraught and frantically searching for his missing friend Lauren?
He knew she wasn't going to be found. I mean, alive.
The hard evidence quickly came rolling in.
He had in his possession both the master key and a key to her apartment. He had a flash drive that belonged to her that contained hundreds of her personal photos. His computer history showed an interest in her Facebook and LinkedIn pages, and sometimes would be searching for images of her around the same time that he was looking up violent pornography.
And it went far beyond cyberspace.
Of course, we found, her underwear in his apartment.
But even more damning, something Lauren had no idea was going on. Cops say McDaniel had free access to her apartment for some time and had been stalking her every move.
The linchpin in all this was when we found deleted video that he had used to surveil her home on the night it appears that she was murdered. and that was found on a camera in his possession. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. He took a wooden pole and he duct taped that camera to the end of the pole, and then he held the pole up really high to peek inside her window.
On the day Lauren's remains were found, McDaniel was arrested on unrelated burglary charges. Cops pounced, interrogating him for answers. Like a zombie in a trance, his monotone voice mostly kept saying, "I don't know."
You're gonna look at this right here, this little girl right here, and you're gonna say you don't know? I know you know. Tell me, bud.
I didn't do it.
Yes, you did, Stephen. Your head's with the body. Quit lying. We want you to tell it so that way people will understand you're not a monster. Things just, you got out of control. It's a sickness. You hurt this girl.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You hurt that girl.
Within a few weeks, McDaniels was charged with Lauren's murder. Years passed, but the evidence mounted against him. McDaniel eventually accepted a deal, pleading guilty to murder and openly confessing to the lurid details in court, saying he entered Lauren's apartment at 4:30 in the morning wearing a mask. He explained, quote, "She saw me and said very calmly, 'Get the expletive out.' I leaped across the bed onto her and grabbed her around the throat."
He pleaded to breaking into Lauren's apartment, to strangling her, to moving her to the bathroom, to taking her body apart, to hiding it, to ripping up evidence and putting it down the toilet, cleaning up everything, and then acting like she was still alive.
McDaniel said that during the struggle, Lauren pulled the mask from his face and pleaded, "Stephen, please stop." When Lauren was dead, McDaniel dragged her into the bath and left her. He returned that night and dismembered her using a hacksaw blade. The cover of the blade with Lauren's DNA was later found in his apartment.
He told us that the rest of her remains were placed in a different dumpster.
Tragically, they have never been recovered.
And you want to know where the rest of her body is, am I right?
Yeah, I think for my parents, it's super important for them. I mean, you have this baby, you raise this baby, and then someone does something like that, and then you don't even get her full body back to be able to bury it. I think that's, extremely hard on them.
It's an excruciating pain that can never be relieved. For now, the only solace for Lauren's family, McDaniel was sent to prison for life.